A common question that gets asked when talking about ways to change World War One is what if Italy joined the Central Powers? Well, today, I'll be trying to answer that as best as I can. The year is 1871, and the Germans are about to unify after the Franco-Prussian War. Italy will look at Germany as a genius. The Germans somehow got unified by beating a major power, which is similar to how Italy got united. Over in Eastern Europe, we have the Austrians. They just got through a rough ride with a Hungarian revolt a couple decades ago, and have formed Austria-Hungary. The Germans and the Austrians now look at each other as equals, as they know that they need each other in order to survive. And plus, why keep up the rivalry? Prussia doesn't exist anymore, and it is the German Empire. So, they form an alliance. And the alliance says that if one of them gets attacked, the other will join and protect. But now, they want a third member. That is Italy. The Italians have a choice. They should A. join the Triple Alliance, or B. not join the alliance. With joining the alliance, they will be protected from both West and East. And also having an extra hand in Africa has its benefits, so joining is very clear. If they don't join, they'll get dragged out of Africa and get absolutely wrecked by the French and British, who have interests in the Italian colonies in Africa, which, as you could probably tell, isn't what they would want. So after more thinking, Italy would join the alliance, and now the three would discuss what land they would want in the future. Italy would like a bigger Libyan colony, as well as taking French Tunisia, and maybe even some coast from French Algeria. But in mainland Europe, they would want Corsica. The Austrians would like one thing, Serbia, as the Serbians are being very mean to the Austrians in Bosnia, so it only would make sense. And lastly, Germany. They'd like to expand their territories a bit into France, into the area of France where 90% of their iron supply comes. And they'd also like to take French Gabon and some of French Togo, making their colonies in Africa stronger. So now we have the best alliance possible for Italy. But right before World War I, we have a different war to talk about, the Italo-Turkish War. The Italians would storm in and take major ports in all of the coastal territory, and start to fight inland. But after months of fighting, the Italians would win. But with this Italian win, it will prevent the Ottomans from joining the Central Powers, because in this timeline, Italy is more committed. We must now talk about the other colonies in Africa, that being Italian Somalia and Italian Eritrea. The Italians want to connect those colonies, and so now Italy will go to war with Ethiopia. The Italians would flood in, and with more time and better preparations, the Italians would easily capture Ethiopia for themselves, giving them a bigger hand in Africa. Balkan Wars still happen, and Italy, Germany, and Austria-Hungary are preparing for a major war. Because of this unbalance of power happening, the Allies will look at them with hate. And in 1914, a certain guy got shot, and thus began World War I. Now let's discuss the battle plan. In our World War I, Germany went through Belgium, but now this wouldn't happen. The reason being is the French have a new border to watch, allowing the Germans to be able to push through, as well as the Italians. The Italians and Germans will handle Africa, which will leave Austria-Hungary to deal with Serbia and some of Russia. Okay, now let's see how it goes. The Italian and German troops move into France, but just barely, as the French knew about this plan and had prepared a bit, while Austria-Hungary knows how to crush the Serbs, as they occupy half of Serbia. We must remember that the Central Powers have colonies, and down in Africa, some good and some bad habits. German Togoland is gone, but Italy has captured French Tunisia, French Kuwait, and some of French Central Africa. The Germans did push and deal some damage to the French, as they took French Gabon. But over in Asia, the Germans won't get kicked out. Well, at least until later. The Germans have plans for French Indochina. But let's head back to Europe. The French have held on for 3 months, and they are bound to crack. And Austria-Hungary took Serbia with the help from the new Central Powers member, Bulgaria, who just joined in on the side of the Central Powers. The Russians are losing badly, and to make things worse, they have another thing to worry about. That being Lenin, who is trying to install a communist government in Russia. Britain would watch this with hate as they planned to join the war. While Britain was watching, they prepared a blockade to help the French and the Russians win this war. France is defending Paris with all they got, but after a week-long battle, Paris has fallen. The British have decided to act now, while the Russians are ready to surrender. The British have got their plan. Their plan is to get the Ottomans to take care of Bulgaria and retake the old Italian lands. And so it happens. Two more superpowers join the war. The Central Powers are now shocked, knowing that they may lose hard. The Germans and the Italians meet up and decide on how to handle Africa. The idea is simple. Just go fast. It is the only thing they can do with the large British presence. They have nothing to lose now. And just after Russia surrenders, they attack. They capture British South Sudan, British Kenya, and start to invade British Egypt. Now they need to make a deal. Now they need to deal with the Ottomans, but the economies of Germany, Italy, and Austria-Hungary are in shambles from the blockade that Britain has set up. And now they're going to try to negotiate a peace deal. In this peace deal, it states that Germany and Italy get to keep all colonies, besides for one. The German colony in Asia we were talking about earlier will get handed over to the British, as Germany really doesn't have a reason to take control over that anymore. But Germany also has to release its control over Eastern Europe from the lands they got when Russia surrendered. The Germans and Italians do get something in Africa though. The Germans get to keep French Gabon, and the Italians get to keep French Tunisia, and as well as French Kuwait. But after the war, the three powers will collapse. Germany will have a civil war, and end up with a man with a skinny mustache and power. Italy would break up. All of their African colonies will get taken by the French and British. Italy is cut into two countries, North and South Italy, as they try to unify under only their government. And lastly, we have Austria-Hungary, which breaks up very fast. Austria keeps all German-speaking territories, Czechoslovakia exists now, Hungary is bigger, and Serbia gains lands and forms Yugoslavia. I hope you liked this alt history video. This is my first time doing something like this, so if you did enjoy, smash the like button, and comment your alt history ideas down in the comments. But for now, goodbye.